Welcome to Yin. I'll have you start in a nice seated, comfortable position. You may want to place a bolster or a block at your low back for a little support. Or maybe a blanket, sitting on a blanket to lift the hips. Wherever you need to be to get grounded comfortably. And then from here, placing your hands on your knees, think weight of a nickel and push yourself back gently. So the shoulders are in line with the hips, ears are in line with the shoulders, and you're sitting up nice and tall. Take a nice full inhale into the nose. And exhale out. Now, as you bring yourself into your practice, really focus on the inhale coming in through the nose and out through the nose. And then after a few cycles of breath, naturally feel how the body and the torso is moving too as you breathe. And try not to assign any value to it. These last few minutes in this opening meditation, see if you can make your inhale and exhale audible.
All right, take a nice full inhale in. Sigh it out as you exhale. And then slowly, if you have propped yourself up, slowly remove the props. Place the bottoms of the feet together for your butterfly pose. And some of us will want to use blocks to bolster the knees and keeping the bottoms of the feet together. Or you can use a strap. Wrap it around. Find what you need. I'm going to stick with the blocks. The focus here really is to keep the feet together, however that needs to be. And then I want you to find a sweet spot for your stretch. So the closer the heels are to the pubic bone, it might be a little different or deeper than having the heels a little further away. So find where the distance between the heels and the pubic bone you need to be, and then have the bottoms of the feet together. And if that involves bolstering, bolster. And you'll be here for the next 3 minutes. So if you want, you can keep your hands on your knees and stay up nice and tall, or at this point, placing one hand on your stomach and one hand on your heart. And then continuing the audible breath if that's been serving you. One more minute left. Take your final cycle of breath in this pose. Slowly bring the knees together and the feet flat. Place your hands behind your back and windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Just a few times. And then find some stillness with the feet flat and the knees up.
Extend the left leg long and bring the right foot to the inside of the left leg. So you have your half butterfly pose. Keep the left leg straight. Try to keep the second toe in line with the knee. If you want, you can place a block at the foot as well. Some of us, you'll come into a forward fold, so some of us like to have a strap handy as well. So options. Lift and rotate the hips so you're balanced on your sit bones and you have some equanimity between left and right. And then once you feel like you have a nice stable base, reach your arms up high to the sky and fold over your left leg. Place your palms onto the ground and reach the forehead for the left foot. You'll be here for the next 3 minutes. Try to let your inhales create length and your exhales to create depth. And try not to assign value to how much that is. Just let it be. You're about halfway through, so notice if you're tensing anywhere and see if you can soften. Thirty more seconds left. Take a full cycle of breath here. Let your next inhale guide yourself up. You'll keep your left leg long, but then rotate the right leg. So now you're in a half saddle pose. So you're bringing the right heel to the glute, and you can always use some props here. And don't feel like the right heel has to come totally to the glute, but if you need to, maybe use a prop for the knee, or you let the heel come out just a little bit. So you find that spot that works for you. And then you'll slowly start reclining back. So placing your hands behind your bum and then maybe coming down onto forearms. Seeing how that feels.
And then if you want, you can recline back, but be mindful that you're not arching your back so much. Because that kind of changes the integrity in the quad also a little bit if the tilt of the pelvis changes. So be mindful of that. Knowing that you'll be here for the next 3 minutes. If this is totally uncomfortable, you have a bolster you can use, you can recline back on as well. As you've entered this first minute, if you're on your forearms, be mindful that you're not allowing the shoulders to creep up to the ears and dumping. Make sure you have some strong integrity by placing the forearms totally. And then if you're completely reclined, make sure your back isn't all the way, you don't have the arch going in the low back. Last minute in this pose. Maybe allow your cycles of breath to be a little longer. Take your last cycle of breath. As you inhale, slowly start bringing yourself up. So if you're totally reclined, come and pause on your forearms. And then bring yourself up slowly. This time, bring the feet back together in your butterfly pose. Stay nice and tall. And we'll stay here for 2 minutes, kind of as a transition. This isn't meant to go really deep, but if you want to recline in those 2 minutes, you can go for it. 15 seconds left. So see if you can make your next cycle of breath this whole 15 seconds. And then from here, slowly extend your right leg long and bring the left foot into the right leg. Place the block at your foot if you would like to, just as a reminder to have the toes up, and try to keep the second toe in line with the knee. And then when you're ready, reach your arms up high to the sky and fold forward. Coming into your half butterfly with a forward fold for the next 3 minutes. See if you can keep your spine nice and straight. Thirty more seconds left. See if you can fold a little deeper. Taking your last cycle of breath. Use the inhale to slowly bring yourself up. Come up nice and tall first, don't rush anything. And then when you are ready, slowly start coming into half saddle pose on the left side with the left heel close to the glute, bolstering whatever you need, keeping the right leg nice and straight. And then placing your hands behind your bum. You can stay up tall if you would like, or recline to your degree. Keep it the same. So if you came down on forearms, stay on forearms and maintain the integrity here. Don't allow the shoulders to dip. And then if you recline totally back, go totally back. And I will mind the time for the next 3 minutes. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, when you're here, try not to keep the chin to the chest. Try to keep it nice and open so you're opening up the throat and the heart. But if it feels vulnerable, tip the head just a little bit. about halfway through. See if you need to make any adjustments. Or are you starting to lean to one side or the other? Last 30 seconds. If you're totally reclined, make your way onto your forearms. And we'll all take a collective breath once everyone's on their forearms. Take a full inhale in. Exhale out. Slowly bring yourself back up. Extend your left leg long. And if you want, you can go as wide as your mat, or if you feel like you want to come a little wider for your seated forward fold, you can. So find the distance that you need, and then place your hands behind your hips. Lift and tilt so the sit bones are totally engaged, and that gives you just a slight tilt so you can fold forward. The hips are another way. The bone almost gets in the way if you fold forward. Anyway, side note. You can have like your block or a bolster handy if you want to fold over on it. And when you're ready, reaching your arms up. And then fold forward down the middle. Resting your hands on the mat. And then maybe walking your fingertips just a little bit further away from the body. And then finding some stillness, keeping the toes pointed up, the shoulders dropping down and away from the ears. And then keep the gaze down so you have some softness in your neck. If you were to quickly touch the back of your neck, it shouldn't feel like there's any wrinkles there. That's how you know you're not hyperextending. And you'll be here for the next 5 minutes.
halfway through, so see if you need to fold a little deeper. Last minute in this pose. Take a full cycle of breath here. Use your next inhale, whenever that is, to slowly walk yourself up. This time, bring the right leg in front of you and then stack the left leg on top like a fire log. If this is great for you and you feel comfortable here, maybe you need to bolster the knee, that's fine. Or if you want something a little deeper, stacking the left knee on top of the right for cow face legs. You'll do some stuff with the arms, that's going to change, but you'll be in this pose for about 8 minutes. So let yourself kind of guide to what you need. And then bring your arms out in front of you. Bring your right arm in front of you. Bend the elbow, fingertips up, and then left arm comes inside of the right, finding your eagle arm pose. And from here, sometimes there's always talk about having the elbows up at shoulder height and down and away. You can take a few cycles of breath here like this. Just feeling what's going on in the shoulders and not really assigning a value to it. But then eventually I want you to find a point of stillness where the left thumb is touching the third eye. And the third eye is the chakra that's aligned with forward momentum. So while you're here, keeping the shoulders dropping down and away from the ears, the thumb is on the third eye. I want you to do the I am meditation. So inhaling I and exhaling M. And it could be audible or not. One more minute left here. With your next inhale, just bring the elbows up a little higher than the shoulders, maybe looking up. And as you exhale, slowly bringing the elbows down, releasing the arms. Bring the left arm behind you and the right arm on top for cow face arms. If you need a strap, have it available. If not, it's not handy. That's okay. Just having the hands touch wherever they are. Try to keep the right arm up and the left arm down for cow face arms for the next 4 minutes. So you can stay up nice and tall if you would like, but if you feel like you need to fold forward, go for it as well. And if you want, I can cue you. I will cue you at the halfway point, because then if you want to fold forward, then you can. Okay. I think that's kind of fun to make it your own and just see how the body settles. We're at the halfway point. Try to keep your hands at a spot where you're not jutting the spine too far forward. And if you're folding forward or folded forward, try to keep the crown of the head reaching forward and not letting the head hang. Thirty more seconds. If you lean forward, slowly bring yourself back up so you're seated nice and tall. Crown of the head is reaching up. Take your full inhale and allow your exhale to release the arms and release the legs. Slowly switching sides. So just start off with the left leg on the bottom and the right leg on the top, just deciding if this is all you need. And then if you would like to come into cow face, arms or legs all together, go for it. And let's do the other side. So bring the arms out to a T, come up nice and tall. Bring the left arm in front of you, and bend the elbows, fingertips up, bring the right arm in front. Finding the eagle arm variation that works for you. Take a few cycles of breath, just moving the elbows up and down, gauging where you're at in the shoulders. And then when you feel like you have a point of stillness, placing the right thumb on the third eye, or I guess the left thumb, whichever one feels comfortable. And then it's not about having the elbows at shoulder height at this moment. It's about having the connection with the third eye and being able to depress the shoulders down or keep the shoulders down and away from the ears. And even while you're doing this, maybe picturing the tips of the shoulder blades coming into the spine. Knowing that you'll be here for the next, like 3.5 minutes. One more minute. Collectively, let's take a nice full inhale in. Once again, taking the elbows up higher than the shoulders. And then exhale, slowly coming back down, releasing the arms, bringing the right arm behind and the left arm on top for the cow face arms. Finding the position that serves you.
We'll be here once again for 4 minutes, and I'll give you the halfway point. If you want to fold forward this whole time, you can. If not, and you want to explore it 2 minutes in, you can go for it, okay? Try to stay nice and tall without swaying the low back in. Try to maintain the integrity of the low back. Keep the crown of the head reaching up. And just be mindful that you're not wobbling too much to one side or the other. We're halfway there. So if you want to stay up nice and tall, you can. If you want to fold forward, go for it. If you're folded forward, try to make sure you're keeping the spine nice and long and not letting the chin drop too much. Twenty more seconds left. If you folded forward, slowly bring yourself back up. Collectively, let's take a nice full inhale in through the nose. Exhale out. Slowly release your arms and walk yourself into a tabletop pose. Hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. And then tuck under your toes and send your hips high to the sky for downward dog. You'll be in this downward dog for a few minutes, so you can play around here. You can have the feet about hips distance apart, or if you want, you can take the feet as wide as the mat. And some of us may even want to come down onto our forearms. So you're finding the downward dog that serves you best. And I will mind the time. All I want you to do is find a connection with your feet and your hands and be able to push down and root up. So taking the hips high to the sky and ears in line with the spine. Halfway through. So see, just give yourself a little assessment here and notice if you're clenching or tightening anywhere. Take a full inhale. And then let your exhale walk your feet to the back of your hands, finding your forward fold or dangle pose. And you can be in your forward fold with knees bent, head dropped. But whatever you choose to do, you can even be halfway up if that feels good. I want you to have connection with all points of the feet. So the balls of the feet, the outsides, the heels, and the toes. Releasing the head. All right, yogis, wherever you're at in your dangle pose, have some connection with the thighs or the torso on the thighs and bend so deeply now that the bum comes onto the mat. And sit up nice and tall here just for a second so you can feel everything level out. And then bring your left leg to the side. Not quite like you did in saddle, but the left knee is bent and the heel's away from the glute. And then bring the right foot to the inside of the left thigh, setting yourself up for deer pose. Some of us will want our bolster handy to come to the outside of the right hip. So have that handy, but wherever you're at, make sure you have some balance on your sit bones. Reach your arms up high to the sky and then rotate over to the right side and slowly start folding forward. You'll be in this deer pose for 4 minutes. So finding where you need to be. And if you choose to, you can always rotate and set the left side of the face onto the mat.
30 more seconds. Take a final cycle of breath in this pose. Use your inhale to slowly bring yourself back up, sitting up nice and tall. Leaving the right leg where it is, but then bringing the left leg behind, setting yourself up for swan or pigeon pose. If you want this to be deep, you can always take the right shin as parallel to the top of the mat. If not, keep the heel in close. Make sure the right or the left leg is nice and long behind you. Sitting up nice or hands underneath the shoulders, come up nice and tall first and foremost, just for a breath. And then decide to stay here for the next 4 minutes or recline forward into a sleeping swan pose. Only you know what you need, so be there. Take a full inhale. Maybe let your exhale sigh everything out. And then slowly walk yourself up if you're reclined. And let's just stay here with the hands underneath the shoulders and come up nice and tall. Full cycle of breath. And then slowly release. And let's switch sides. So bring yourself up ever so slowly. Bring the left knee forward as you switch legs. So bring the right heel to the right glute and then take it away a little bit. And then the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Make any adjustments you need. Bring your arms up nice and high. And then use your exhale to rotate over towards your left side and going over a bolster, or maybe your hands rest onto the ground or you come down onto your forearm for the next 4 minutes. If you are on a bolster, you can always lift and rotate so the right side of your cheek is touching. One more minute left. Take a cycle of breath here. Use your inhale to slowly walk yourself up. And then know you're set up for swan on the other side. So slowly continue bringing your right leg long behind you. Adjusting where you want the shin of the left leg. Come up nice and tall with the hands underneath the shoulder. Take a full cycle of breath here and decide if this is where you want to be for the next 4 minutes, or do you need to recline and fold forward. So make some choices. One more minute left. So see if you can soften anywhere in this pose. Be mindful that you're not tensing even in the jaw. Take a full inhale. Sigh out your exhale. exhale. And carefully bring yourself up so the hands are underneath the shoulders. Come up nice and tall. Let's take a collective breath here. Maybe sigh out your exhale. And then ever so carefully come into a tabletop pose. And then a child pose. And then begin to walk yourself long onto the mat. And then once you're totally prone, flip yourself over and come into a supine position. Hug the knees into the chest briefly. Gently rock from side to side, and then extend one leg long and then the other. And set yourself up for your Shavasana, knowing that I will call you. Okay, yogis, you can stay here and I can bid you adieu, but if you want to end the practice with me, make your way onto your right side. And then slowly bring yourself up into a seated position. Rest your hands on your knees, just like you did when you began. Take a few cycles of breath, sealing in your practice. Maybe using the I am statements as you breathe in and out. And then reach your arms up overhead. Pull them together in prayer and bring them down to heart center with a soft bow. I honor this place inside of me in which the entire universe dwells, It is a place of peace. It is a place of compassion. And it is a place of kindness. And when I am in this place in me and you are in this place in you, together we are one. Namaste.